Hey, so if you're an aspiring data analyst and you are just tired of the endless tutorials, ready to finally get paid for your skills, then you have come to the right place. We're about to dive into a no-nonsense approach that's going to completely change how you think about your job search. Okay, let's start with the big idea for today, and it's this. Stop learning tools, start getting paid. Now, I know what you're thinking, that sounds totally backward, right? But trust me, this one little shift in perspective, it's the difference between staying stuck and actually getting hired. Let's break down what this really means.
First up, let's talk about something I call the aspiring analyst trap. You know the feeling, right? It's that frustrating cycle where you're learning, you're building stuff, you're applying for jobs, and you're getting absolutely nowhere. You feel super busy, but you're just not making any real progress. So what is going wrong?
Well, this slide pretty much says it all. Over on the left, you've got what most beginners are doing. It's the busy work, right? Jumping from Python to SQL to Tableau, collecting tools like their Pokemon cards. And yeah, it feels productive. But look at the right side. This is what the hired few are doing. They're solving specific business problems. They're delivering actual recommendations. It's not about showing off a list of tools. It's about showing you can create real value.
And that brings us to the most important part, the mindset shift. If you want to get hired, you have to stop thinking like a student who's just trying to complete a checklist of skills. You've got to start thinking like a paid professional, someone who gets hired to solve expensive, tricky problems.
I really want you to let this one sink in. A company isn't hiring a data analyst because they have a pretty screenshot of a dashboard. No way. They're hiring an analyst to help them make better, smarter decisions. They need answers to questions like, why are our sales tanking this quarter? Or, should we invest millions in this new product line? Your ability to provide a real solution to a real business problem, that is your golden ticket.
So how do you actually do that? Well, it all starts with deep problem solving. Instead of doing 10 shallow, kind of generic projects, I want you to focus on one deep one. Here's how. First, pick one domain you're interested in, like marketing or finance. Second, find a really clear business question to answer within that domain. And third, show the entire journey. I mean everything, from the messy raw data all the way to a final actionable recommendation.
And speaking of that raw data, let's talk about cleaning it for a second. This is such a huge opportunity that so many beginners just completely miss. You got to understand, companies are terrified of making big decisions based on bad data. So showing that you can take a messy data set, document your entire cleaning process, and then explain why it improves the accuracy of the results, that is an incredibly valuable skill that will immediately make you stand out from the crowd.
Okay, so once you've done all that deep technical work, you have to be able to translate it. This brings us to the communication framework. Look, it's not enough to just find an insight hidden in the data. You have to communicate it in a way that the decision makers, the managers, can actually understand and act on.
It's really that simple. Clarity leads to action. Your value as an analyst isn't just in the code you write. It's in your ability to make your findings so clear and so compelling that a manager feels totally confident making a big decision based on your work. That's how you create real, tangible impact. And here is a beautifully simple little tool to help you do just that. For every single chart or finding you present, I want you to use this 3-sentence formula. Seriously, start with what you found, just the facts. Then explain the business impact, the so what. And finally, propose a next step. This formula proves you're not just a technician, you're a strategic thinker, and that's what gets you hired.
All right, now let's see how this all comes together in the one thing that actually gets you in the door for an interview, your portfolio. It's time to build projects that don't just show off your skills, but that literally scream, hire me.
Just look at the difference here. Sales dashboard. So what? It's generic, it's boring, and it's going to get ignored. But why Q3 sales fell for a Lagos FMCG brand? That's a fast-moving consumer goods brand, by the way. Now that is specific. It promises a solution to a real-world problem. If you're a hiring manager, which one are you going to click on? It's a no-brainer.
So let's quickly break down what makes that project so powerful. You're using local context and very specific metrics, not just generic ones. You're not just pointing out a problem, you're actually proposing concrete solutions. And check this out, you're even estimating the financial impact, the return on investment of your ideas. And then you wrap it all up in a professional one-page case study that looks like something you'd actually deliver to a real client.
Okay, let's bring it all home. We've talked about shifting your mindset, we've talked about focusing on deep problems, and communicating for impact. This right here, this is your roadmap to stop just being busy and to start actually getting paid. If you remember one thing, let it be this: direction
beats busyness. Every single time. Randomly learning new tools is just spinning your wheels in the mud. But following a structured, problem-focused path like the one we've just outlined, that gives you direction. And that direction is what's going to speed up your journey from aspiring to actually being hired.
So I'll leave you with this one last question to really think about. Go take a hard look at your current projects. Is your portfolio just a collection of tools, like a gallery of software you know how to use? Or is it a collection of solutions that demonstrates your ability to solve real, expensive business problems? The answer to that question is going to determine your very next step.